Okay, so what we are going to see here is how to redeem a Microsoft Azure Pass, and we are going to use this pass for our lab purpose. So I will go to microsoftazurepass.com. I will start. So before starting this, I need to have Microsoft account. So I will create a new Microsoft account for this purpose, and then I will set up our first subscription, that is for Azure Pass. So micro So I've created my Microsoft account. The purpose is to redeem my pass and start using the first subscription model, that is the Azure Pass. So I will go to start. I will log in into this one. The mail ID was okay. Now I need to enter the promo code. So I have my own promo code to log into this. So I will claim this promo code, and once it is validated, I will get the subscription for the Azure Passport, Azure Pass, and I will log into the Azure portal. Case done. So it will take some time to set up my profile. Then I'll go to portal.azure.com. So this is the Azure portal. You can see that this is the Azure portal. When I will click here, there are the different services over the Azure portal, like dashboard. We can set up our own dashboard, how it looks like the front page. App services, resource grow function, SQL database, virtual machine, load balancer, Active Directory, and all. So this is the first visualization of the dashboard when you log into the portal. Then I will search for the subscription and see what our subscription looks like. So as of now, it says there isn't any subscription. I'm not sure why. Okay, should be active by now. Okay, here it is. So our subscription is active. You can see I have activated the Azure Pass sponsorship subscription. And this is the subscription part. When I'll go to see my credit, it will show me 1 month duration and $100 in my account to spend on Azure services. So I came to subscription tab, and from subscription I go to billing tab for the Azure Pass sponsorship. At the Azure Pass sponsorship, you can see that since I activated on 29th of 11, so this is my activation date. It will expire on 29th of December. Total $100 credit. So I told you the subscription is just like credit card. You get a limit, you use it. In here you can see that I have advanced limit of $100. I can use it to spend virtual machines. So later I will create your all account in this subscription, and when you'll perform the lab you can use this subscription for this purpose. Okay guys, so let's come to topic. This was the demo of the first subscription. And apart from that, you can see that if I'll go to billing payment method, there isn't any payment method as of now. So if I want, once this expire, I need to add my credit card into this payment method from payment method tab, so that I can move to pay as you go subscription. So after 1 month, I will be left with this only this option. I won't be able to spend anything or spin any VM or use any services at Azure. So we'll see Azure account hierarchy. So initially, when it comes to any organization, they buy AZ Enterprise, EA Enterprise Agreement. So they have AZ Enterprise, and they use this portal ea.azure.com to access enterprise subscription part. Then they distribute it to departments. Sorry. So hierarchy says that next it comes to department. They give different subscription to different department. Like suppose in an enterprise agreement, I have 1 lakh credit and I have 10 department running. So easiest way is, if I want them to be equally distributed, I will create different subscriptions, sub 1, sub 2, sub 3, up to sub 10. So these all departments can use up to 10K dollar each. So they can use up to 10K dollar. They can use services up to 10K dollar, and they can access their details, or even for the enterprise one, they can access the account details from account.azure.com. Since these two, ea.azure.com and accounts.azure.com, accounts.azure.com is for the billing purpose. So access will be given to billing administrator. And this is the guy who can transfer the subscription to one person or one company to another company. This billing administrator, he's the only guy who can transfer the subscription, these subscription, account subscription. So suppose like there was one big company, Ericsson, and there was one small company, suppose Supertech. And in case Ericsson buy this company Supertech, then subscription of Supertech at Azure need to be transferred to Ericsson. So the billing administrator is the only guy who can do this, and he can do this using the account.azure.com portal. There is no other way or any other guy who can transfer this. So after account, there comes a subscription part.
Nikhil,
Yeah, go on.
what kind of admin do we have in Azure?
There are different type of admin. Like they are global admin, they are service admin, there is account admin. So
Yes.
when we'll come to each and every role, we'll see how they works and how the access like RBAC, rule-based access work. Okay.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is because you are mentioning that only billing, the person who will be having that billing right can be will be able to transfer the subscription.
Right.
So not sure if there is any admin who can also do that. It should be ideally.
Yeah, the one who created the account.
Yes. Okay.
So the one who created the account has by default all the roles. So
Okay.
one the global admin who is directly associated with your tenant is the one having inherited all the roles. So he's the one, and the rest, if we'll create another global admin, that global admin need to be assigned roles. But for this one, who is associated with the tenant, has got all the roles automatically.
So do
Okay.
you mean to say, Nikhil, that the global admin has the highest role in the Azure environment?
The one who is associated with the tenant. About rest, all global admins, if you are creating an additional global admin, you have to assign the roles to them.
Okay, so we can create and assign the roles
Additional.
accordingly. Okay.
Yeah, right. So next it comes to subscription, where we landed earlier. That was portal.azure.com. So that was the page where you will land. You will check your subscription. You will check your already existing resources, or you can create resources and all. Then comes resource group. What is resource group? Resource group is nothing logical boundary. So it's a logical boundary or a container where different resources are located, like VM, storage, web server. So it's a logical container. It's not a physical container. The reason why I'm saying it's not a physical container is suppose this is the web server. So I can do one thing like my resource group is in East US, and I can even assign this web server or build this web server in Europe. So there is no restriction if you are building any resource that is inside any resource group into different location. But still it's the container where all different VMs and other resources exist. And since they are associated with the same resource group, so it's easy to manage. So resource group is concept where if you want to easily manage, like I have big company, I have 10,000 resources over the cloud. How will we manage? How will we know that this resources is being used for this particular purpose or this particular department, and another resources is being used from another account on another department? So We create a logical container and boundary, and inside those boundary, we implement different resources or build different resources. So to be very specific, resource group and any resource can be in different region. Like this can be in East US and this can be in India. That if resource group is the container, that doesn't mean it's a physical container, and every resources need to be exist only in this. Okay,
I have one question here.
sure.
So resource group is basically okay. First of all, are we able to see the locations also where we are building up our VMs, or maybe we are
Yes,
building?
yes. We have to
Okay,
select the location when we are building a VM.
okay. So basically, do we need to first create a resource group? Then only under that, we can create some resources like VMs and.
Right. Either you need to use the existing resource group or you need to build a new resource group if you want to deploy any services at Azure.
Okay, okay. Thanks. One more question.
Yeah,
Like,
sure.
can we move a resource from, let's say I have created one resource on East Europe location and I want to move it to East Asia location. I have created two resource group, as you said, that on different locations,
Okay.
and I want to move the same VM from, uh, I mean, from Europe to Asia, let's say. So,
Okay.
is it possible, or do we? Is it not possible, and how it's possible?
Let me show you. Suppose this is the one resource group. This is the another resource. Sorry. This is the another resource group. So this is the resource group one. This is the resource group one, two. This is in East US. This is in Africa. So you want to, so I mean, your question is, I have one VM over here. Can we move this VM from one resource group to another resource group, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah, we can do this, but there are certain restriction. Like, suppose there is one public IP associated with this VM. Since you are moving this VM to another resource group that is located at Africa, so this public IP should reside only in this resource group. It cannot move over there. The reason is that public IP is assigned by their organization on the location based. So suppose 13.1.1.1 is the public IP that exists in East US. Same IP cannot exist at Africa location. So this IP cannot be moved. Same happen with the policies or any alerts. So when you configure some certain policies and alert, they are associated with the resource ID, tenant ID. Since you are moving the resource, so resource ID will be changed when you move it to another resource. So this policy won't go or move over there. So you have to create new policy and alerts. And it depends upon the other services as well. And when you are moving one location to another location, it will provide you the details. Like suppose I'm moving VM1 to VM2. When I'm moving VM1 to another resource group, it will provide me details of the list of the all the details that cannot be moved from one resource group to another resource group like IP, policy, and if there are any other thing while you are moving this from one resource group to another resource group, you will get an alert that you have to set up these all thing differently.
Nikhil,
Yeah, go on.
is there any cost difference? Like if I create a VM in APAC and the same configuration VM I'm creating in EMEA, so will there be any cost difference or any data policy change?
Actually, there is cost difference. Suppose Azure has built up their data center or their cloud computing server and all into India, and there's another server that is in Europe. So do you think everything pricing like building, rent, electricity, or there are other like associated with the taxes on all, so they are not same in India, and when you'll go to Europe it would be completely different. So it depends on the location, their overall infrastructure they have built and their cost they decide. And apart from that they even consider the user base. If user base is higher at Europe, obviously cost of building in any infrastructure at Europe will be higher in compared to India or US. So yes, there is price difference, there is cost difference, and you have to check that cost difference when you are building or taking any services from them. Anything else?
Yes, let's take an example. Suppose I'm taking exchange online service. Okay.
Yeah,
So if I buy that exchange online service, I'm taking 10 license from Orthodox Tariff in India.
there isn't any cost difference in this case because you are buying a SaaS service. So when it comes to SaaS service, when it comes to PaaS service, there isn't any difference. Difference is only in the case of S service, infrastructure as a service. So
Oh,
license cost and all will be same for SaaS and same will be for the PaaS.
okay. Okay. Done.
Next, when you'll go to subscription part, there will be one cost analysis tab. So when you are working with any like I have an account or any department like telecom, and in telecom we have $10,000 bill, I mean limit. We can use the resources or quota of like I can build up to 100 VMs and I can build up to 100 terabyte of storage. So hey, when I'll go to the subscription option for the telecom part and I will go to cost analysis, it will show my actual cost. It will show my forecast that is right now it's unavailable, but it will show if I will build all the VMs and how much I will be billed at the end of the month. And it will show my budget like I have $10,000 budget, and if my forecast is reaching near to my budget, it will send me alert that you are reaching your limit, so extend your limit. Or if you are not able to extend your limit, services will be stopped. So this is the one of the important tab you need to take care of it. You can even set up cost alerts from here.
Okay, so that's what my actual question that do we need do we will be getting the any notification regarding that? So
Yeah, right. So here it is. It is a cost alert. So you can create a cost alert from here. Like I'm creating a just so my scope is Azure Pass sponsorship. Okay. So I will add alert. It's not letting me to do that. Let me log into the another account, my personal account. So I will go to subscription. I will select my subscription. I will go to cost alert. My scope is my subscription. Not sure something has changed here. I will check it later. But I can set up alerts from here. It's right now disabled. So here I can select like I can spend up to $100 and once $100 limit is reached, I will get an alert. Alert can be over the mail. It can be in the form of SMS and all.
Basically, the alert which we are talking about, is it so just like a overall? I mean, let's say if we have opted one network device, one VM device, and for, I mean, basically it was bifurcated on cost analysis, as you said. So, do we get a consolidated alert for a specific what we talk earlier, subscription? I think that was, or what?
Actually, you can see one tab over here. This tab will allow you to select the scope of that alert. So if you are putting like right now I'm selecting the whole scope to my subscription, I will get overall alert for my subscription. And if I'll select it for a particular resource group, it will apply it to my resource group. So suppose like I have one resource group for one certain team. This resource group is for certain team like Wintel team. So if I will put alert that Wintel team can spend only $100. So when I will select a scope over here and then I will create a alert rule. And once alert rule is in picture, so once this subscription is reached $100, you will get an email.
Okay, okay, I got it. Where is that? Where is this option where we can create that this much
Yeah, it's
can be spent by Wintel team? This can be done by telecom. That, where is that option where we can? That is
it's
a
like
scope, right?
yeah, that's I'm trying to see. I'm not sure why is it giving. So you can see I can select a scope over here and select it, and then I will create a alert. But over here, I'm getting some error. Okay, cost alert because there's one problem, or you can say there one thing about Azure. They do changes in their portal, so they frequently make different changes, and they implement the changes very frequently. So you have to explore sometimes by yourself. Like I came to the cloud shell storage cost alert. I will add it. Then earlier it was over the subscription tab itself. Now I have to go to that resource or resource group and then I have to select name like alert for one or one. I've I'm creating a budget, and once this budget is reached, then I will get alert. So this budget will be monthly, creation date on November 2020 and this, and suppose amount is 200 rupees. Okay. Next, I have to set up a alert. Suppose I reached 90% of my budget. That is the amount of M 180. So there isn't any action group yet defined, but I can add any action group like stop creating any additional resources and all. But I can set up alert over here like okay. So when I'll be able to spend 180, it will send me a alert. So it will validate it. Budget is created. So here's our alert number one in the budget section. So this alert says when I will my total budget for that particular resources for the cloud shell storage in central India was 200 rupees, and once I will reach 90% of my budget, it will send me an alert on my email ID. Since there is no action group defined yet, so it won't stop me in building additional resources after $200, but I will get an alert. Okay, any doubts?
Okay, thanks.
Next, I will see subscription policy. So suppose I have one subscription, that is a Visual Studios and Enterprise subscription running over here, and I need to make sure that any administrator that is associated with this subscription should be limit using the resources. Like it should not be spending that much of amount of money, or all the resources built should be only in India location or East US location, and he should not be able to build in AMA region, other AMA region, or any other APEC region. So there will be no, I need to make sure there is a policy in place that will restrict the user to build any additional resources or unwanted resources. Because if we'll give a free hand to any administrator and he'll doing whatever he want, then in that case he might build some unnecessary resources, and at the end of the month or year there will be a huge amount of bill generated. So there Azure provide a Azure policy that can be used to limit or allow you to put limit on the certain resources or some other things. So over here we are seeing the policy on the subscription. So you can see like right now our compliance for the policy is 100% because there isn't any policy built yet. Now we'll see how we can build a policy. So it could be different basis on the different like virtual SQ, which type of machine you can build, or on the basis of location where you can build, and there are different template and scopes where everything is allowed. Like you can see the here I have one of the policy running over my machine. So this policy says allowed virtual machine SQ. And what is SQ? I will show it over here. This is the SQ. So this is the SQ, which type of machine you can build, what is the limit. So you can put in policy to limit user only to able to build this one, this one, or this one. The reason is that suppose user doesn't, I mean, we do not require any such D8, VS, V3 type of machine, and if we are giving free hand to user by mistake or any by any case he is building this machine, then it will cost us 18,528 rupees per month, and that is very high amount. And since we do not in our organization, if we do not require that much heavy processing machine and all, then we'll limit like user can build only this machine. And earlier we saw that location also has limit or billing cost difference. So if our resources, mostly in our organization, all guys are located at India or Asia Pacific region. So we can limit user to build resources only to the APEC certain region like northern India, central India. We can assign a scope in the policy so that user won't be able to build any resources except for this location. So we can use the Azure policy for this purpose, and I will give you a demo to create one policy now. Before giving a demo, let me tell you one more thing. There is one concept of management group. This concept of management group came into the picture a few months ago. Earlier, there wasn't any concept of management group. So how it works? Earlier, there was subscription, like subscription 1, subscription 2, subscription 3. You create resource group 1, resource group 2 inside this subscription. So earlier there was only subscription and then resource group and then your resources, different resources. So when it comes to Azure policy, putting any policy into the picture, you can put the policy on the resources, or you can put the policy scope into the whole resource group, or you can put the policy scope into the subscription level. So if you're putting any limit like resources can be only built in India and no other location. So all the users associated with the subscription one, like any users in building any resource in resource group 1 or resource group 2, they won't be able to build any resources except for India. And suppose we are putting a policy for subscription 2 for the East US or West US. So all these users, when the users are trying to build any resources in the resource group 3 or 4, any virtual machine, any storage, any web server, so they will be able to build these resources in East US and Europe for subscription third. But now Azure have brought another concept of management group, and management group sits at the top of everything. So it's like earlier there was only subscription, now management group. So you can select scope as management group as well, and when you are putting any policy on the management group, it will be automatically inherited across all the subscription and across all the resource group and resources as well. So automatically, if you are building any subscription resources and resource group, doesn't matter how many subscription are added to this management group, this sits at the top and everything is inherited. So this is the management group. Right now there isn't any management group. I can add management group like so once it is created, I can assign different subscription in my management group. So when I will create any policy on the management group, it will be automatically inherited.
So is it? I have one question.
Sure.
Is it is it necessary to build a management group if we not require and we want to make it, bifurcated subscription based?
I mean, if you have a big organization and if you want certain things that can be I mean, there should be a central point from where you can control all the resources that is built on in the organization. And if you do not want certain resources to be built in certain location or any restriction over the whole company, because when it comes to bigger organization, they have different department like billing, like hierarchy works like this. So when it comes to any organization, there is very big hierarchy. Like this was your enterprise, different department like finance, IT, research, and across these finance there could be multiple subscription. So when you want to manage whole firm as a one, sometimes we need to implement some policies that should be similar across the whole department, whole region, or whole organization. In that case, you need to have something sitting at the top. Earlier there wasn't any, but couple of months ago, I mean Azure decided to put something into the picture that can control the whole organization. Earlier it was on the subscription level. So when you need to put any policy, you need to put the policy on the subscription, and that policy applies to everything that is below the subscription. So it's not necessary. If you do not want, you don't have to create the management group. Okay.
Okay, so I mean, I hope that we can build multiple management groups
Yes, you can.
as per our requirement, right?
Yeah, you can build how many. I mean, it depends upon you how many management groups you want to build. But there's no necessity if you want to build or not. It all depends upon you. So when I will come to policy, they are already pre-built definitions, and if we want, we can use our custom inbuilt definition. So these are the pre-built. You can use this definition. Like this is one of the definition: vulnerability assessment settings for SQL Server should contain an email address to receive scan reports. So when you are building any SQL server, it should contain an email address to receive a scan report. So if you are not mentioning any email address, you won't be able to build the SQL server. So they are different on if you want to customize your own definition, here is the definition part. So it is the JSON format, it is the key value pair like display name, policy type, version, category SQL, type string. So if you want any of the policy or any of the category or things want to be changed and you do not want pre-built and if you want to use your own definition, you can change this format. So it will be the custom built. So there are n number of, I'm not sure how much they continue, Azure continue to upgrade and n number of definitions, pre-built definition. Then it comes to assignment. So assigning any policy. So let's assign some policy and see the demo. So my scope is Visual Studio Enterprise subscription on which I am going to put the policy. Is there any exclusion? Like suppose in my subscription, I do not want resource group to inherit this policy. So I can add this resource group in the exclusion list. Or I do not want this particular resources to be added in this policy. So I can add that resource or resource group from here exclusion list. You can select like I can select this storage should be excluded from this policy or this network voucher should be excluded. So I can select this one. Suppose I am selecting this one. Save. So what policy I created, there won't be any effect on this one. So this will be out of scope of my policy. And my scope is my complete subscription. Next, it comes to definition. What I want to define in the policy. So they are pre-built definition. I can search them like from location. I will search allowed location. Here it is allowed location. So I can search allowed location. Sorry guys, I lost my broadband connection. It isn't working, so I connected through mobile now. Am I audible?
Yes, Nikhil.
What about my screen? Is it visible or not?
Yeah, it's coming, I think. Yeah, it's visible to me.
Okay. So where were we were earlier when I left? Where were we? Anyone?
You were actually assigning some policy definitions at that point.
Right. So we were assigning the policy. So I clicked on the assign policy, and this is our scope of our policy. It's my whole subscription. I am assigning policy at the subscription level. There's one exclusion. I added the exclusion that is one of the resources in my subscription. That is network watcher. This is the storage. So this policy won't be applied to this particular resource group. Apart from that, I will define a policy. I will give it a name, and then I'll assign a action group. So I will go to policy definition. I will select allowed location, one of the inbuilt definition. Okay, I've changed allowed storage SQ type. So policy I'm selecting here is to limit the storage SQ type. Next, I can give description. I can enforce the policy. So there are two ways. Like first, you are building a VM, and my policy says that you can only build B1S virtual machine. So if you are not complying with the policy, it will show or it will give me alert that you are not complying with the policy. The other way is policy enforcement that will enforce you not to build any other virtual machine except for B1S. So you can enable this policy enforcement. Then I'll come to next allowed SQ. Since I selected the policy to allowed as limited SQ, so I can select SQ from here. Like okay, only premium LRS or ZLRS or certain time geo redundant. Next, I can select it for if there is managed identity or managed services running in my resource group or my subscription. Then I can select this one. Else I can leave it.
Can you do previous, Nikhil? Okay.
Sure.
One more, two more actually. Yes, just no. Next, please. There was a SQ definition. So, I mean, what are these GRS, ZGRS?
Yeah, when I will come to VM, I will explain it's locally redundant, it's zone redundant, it's geographically redundant, it's geographically zone redundant. So these are the different type of when you start building the VM, you will see redundancy across the same data center, across the whole region, or across complete Azure geographical region.
Okay. And in the previous one, can you go one step back, please?
Sure.
I
Okay.
mean here allowed storage account. So you selected one of the account from the list of policy definition,
Yeah.
and that was a SKU. I mean where we have set up like he cannot go beyond this type of configuration, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, thanks.
So you, I mean, it depends upon the policy you select. I'm not sure why I'm unable to select the location one. I can even select the location to restrict particular. I'm selecting this. Okay, showing now. Allowed location. So when I'll go to next, I can select particular location. Suppose I'm restricting it only for India, Central India. Next, there isn't any managed identity yet, and I will create it, this policy. So once this policy is built, that is already built, let me try to build any virtual machine in East US. So eventually I should fail as per the policy. So I'm building this machine in the East US region. But my policy on the subscription Visual Studio encryption subscription says that you cannot build any policy or any machine in the East US. You have limit only for India. That was the Central India. So when I will start building at the end of this tab, I should fail. That that is what policy says. So I'm building this virtual machine in East US, and right now it's review and create. So you can see it over here. It clearly says validation failed. Why failed? Because I wasn't allowed as per the policy. So you can see over here resource test 1157 was disallowed by policy. And what policy says? Allowed location. So my location is for only for central India. So if I will try to build any resources apart from central India, I will be banned. I won't be able to build that resource. So let's change that location and then we'll try. Okay, review and create. So there was another policy that stopped me from building this VM. This policy says that the SKU I selected shouldn't be allowed. So I will change this policy to verify, or I can verify what SKU I can build from here. Go to policy tab to verify my policy. I will see allowed as virtual machine type, a size SKU. There isn't any definition on this. So I'm allowed to build only standard A1 V2 machine. So over here I will go back A1 V2. I will select A1 V2 SKU. This is A1. This is V2. I will select this A1 V2 SKU size. and then I will review and create. So you can see now validation passed. So now I can create this virtual machine. So you can see that subscription policy or policy plays very important role when you come into the enterprise network, so that you can restrict or allow certain SKUs or locations or other settings into the your resources, and you need to make sure that proper policy is in place. You will be able to deploy certain resources or restrict it. Am I good on this, or any questions?
No, Nikhil.
Okay, so we already saw what resource group is. It's a container, and inside this container there are a number of different resources. There's another concept of tagging. So there is another concept of tagging, and what is this tagging? It's the identification or segregation of different type of resources or different type of things into one. Like this is the one resource group, there is another resource group RG2, this is the RG1, and I want different billings or different some particular type of security measure into particular type of virtual machine. So I can put tag on that virtual machine, or I can put tag on the resource group. So when I will put tag of the like, okay, I am putting any tag on the resource group, tag telecom. So every resources in this resource group will be tagged as telecom. Not individually. Individually they have separate tags. Tags are not inherited, but for as a whole, just give me a second. Sorry guys, I got a call. So what is tagging? Tagging is a way to separate particular sets of resources. Like I have n number of resources for virtual machines, and I want billing of the virtual machine to be separated from the billing of database servers. So I can tag the virtual machine as VM tag or any name, and I can tag database as DB tag. So I can separate the billings using filter out using the tag. And apart from that, if I want certain security measure to be implemented, and if I want certain restriction condition on the certain type of resources or certain build or something like that, so we can put tags on each and machine. Tag is the identification, like they belong to this group and these users belong to this group. So these are the tagged group, tagged one. And one more thing, if I'm tagging a resource group, like I'm tagging a resource group, this one is with the tag 1, so it won't be inherited. So this resource mainly is, sorry, it's resource VM DB storage, they won't be tagged with 1, so it's not inherited. The all over resource group has tag 1, resource group, this resource group have tag the tag 2, but there won't be any tag. So you need to have individually tag assigned while defining or building the machine, or you can later add a tag to any machines. So you can say I came here to test resource group. I will go to tag and I can tag it with any name. Like right now there is one tag here. Suppose I'm building a virtual machine individually. So I have option to add a tag over here as well. Any value I can give this tag any value. I can select n number of resources. Like when we I'm building a virtual machine, it will have days. It might have availability set. It will have network interface card. So these all tags will be inherited to all these things that will be built along with the virtual machine. And if we want no, do not tag all these things. I just want to tag the machine or I just want to tag the disk or network interface. So you can uncheck that one. So tag will be only applied to network security group.
Is this? I have one question, Nikhil.
Sure.
So is this tagging is something like just for the sake of information being shared that you can have this much of resource created or on this
It's for
or
the different for the information the resource created for the source created, or it can be used for verifying of the compliance, or it can be used for the cost calculation. So it's not specific to only one thing. It can be used when you are segregating a group of things into one particular tag. So it's in one group, like when you group certain number of people, like this belong to this team, this is the telecom tag, this is the network tag, this is the wintel tag. So there are certain group of people that is assigned to this tag. So it works like that. So are we good for today? And we'll continue next weekend, guys. And meanwhile, I will share you a document and you can go through the document. In case you have any queries, you can reach out to me. Okay?
okay, Nikhil, thanks. I mean,
Yes.
I have one suggestions when
Yeah.
we can. I mean, for the next time, for the next weekend, what would be the timings? I mean, can we do? I mean, just asking like can we have in the afternoon timing?
It depends on all of you. Guys, any comments on the timing?
Mm,
Okay, Kashish, I will check with others individually. Okay?
Okay, okay, thanks.
And I will let you know. If we need, we can, I mean, I have no issue with the timing. I can change timing. And but it depends on all of you guys. Okay?
Okay,
Okay. Thank you very much. And see you next weekend.
thanks again. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you.